little bit careless. It's always the possibility that a red is going to go over to that side, and once it makes any sort of connection with the other two reds that were in the plant.
So what are Judd Trump's options there then, Steve?
Well, he could have perhaps played the shot softer, but he doesn't spread the balls apart and you risk sticking on the pack. But it depends how much he thought that he was going to be able to knock that red in. He might have thought he was going to push offline and the shot was going to be sort of like, even though the plant looked roughly on, the way that the pink and the red attacked it, it was not going to be a plant. I don't know. He didn't really give it too much of a study up. So in that respect, it looked like it was very careless, as Stephen said, not unlucky. But then later on, Shaun Murphy played a pretty careless positional shot, and it looked like he was really out of position, and he really did decide to take the ball by the horns when he played a very, very aggressive red from the side cushion to ram this into the middle pocket. Was an absolutely brave and fantastic shot. And then, of course, the confidence he got from that, he just slotted the blue in and won the frame.
But this week we have seen Shaun take on those shots, haven't we, Ken?
Oh yeah, well that's his philosophy. You know, he's gonna, when he gets the chance, he's gonna take them on, and it's a great philosophy to have. But he also has such great confidence in his cue action, which is probably one of the sweetest that we have on the tour. And you know, those long balls are just part of his game, and he's very, very prolific with them.
Yeah, I mean, play to your strengths, because Shaun isn't the best player when it gets scrappy. It's not his game.
As we've seen.
Yeah, there's other players that don't mind that, and it doesn't affect them. But Shaun doesn't like it. He likes to be flying around the table, and he's in that way he's a confidence player. And when he's given a 50-50 ball and he fancies potting it, he'll go for it.
Yeah, his long potting is still looking so good, isn't it? You look at the stats at the moment. Shaun's long potting is at around 14 from 17, so it's 82% at the moment.
Yeah, very, very good. Yeah, but also when he gets in, as Steve says, you know, when he gets scoring, he makes the game look very, very easy. And he's put it back up to Judd Trump now. Massive frame for both players, this next frame. And I think that's the reason why Shaun sort of went out for a little breather, just to...
And we were also saying, weren't we, as well, Ken, you know, sometimes you look at Shaun and sometimes his facial expressions and how he is gives a lot away about how perhaps he's feeling. You can just see there was a little bit of a swagger in that frame.
Yeah, he has, yeah. He's got his confidence back, and it's good snooker now.
Yep, good snooker. Back to John and Stephen.
Best of three now to get into the semi-final. Standard has gone up the last 2 or 3 frames. Back to the sort of snooker we expected from these two. Pressure is just going to keep ramping up now from now on in this match.
Sending the red towards the corner. Yeah, I think it's gone now. And, well, if Judd can avoid a kiss on the second red, he'd be tempted by this red into the right corner. Although he's looking also at the possibility of a plant. I think that's more a case of trying not to knock the red over the pocket. More interesting getting back to the baulk cushion. Oh, he's hit this badly. He's hit this badly. He'll be lucky not to leave this red. He's not left it. But it looks a big pocket. If that cue ball wasn't as close to the baulk cushion, Shaun would take this on. May well still take it on. And did. Beautiful shot. Deserves to be on the black.
Shot of the match there. Okay, any pot in the black is probably acceptable, but look at this, he almost never needed the red. Superb hit. Well, he's going to need another one here if he goes for this red position on the black.
Yeah, it looks very straight, and the more pace you put into this type of shot, the more difficult it is. You may just have an angle, but you don't want to try and pinch anything.
9.
Shoot it beautifully.
Well, this shot and the long red he just potted in previously. I love the way when Shaun Murphy just gets down and plays the shot. There's never a doubt in his mind once he's decided to play the shot. That's when he gets up from the shot sometimes. That's when
16.
he's a bit least likely to pot it. But that long red, as soon as he's seen it, he just got down and played it.
Shaun Murphy, 16.
Left a chance of a pot here now for Judd. Judd's got to start knocking these long ones in as well now. Well, forgive him for that. You'd always err on the side of hitting it too thin, and probably thought if he hit it thick he could run into the black. It would have been a dangerous shot. So maybe didn't even play the pot there. But as Ken said in the studio, this is a big, big frame. Because whoever wins it is going to get 2 more chances to win the match. The double kiss. But it's run safe. Another double kiss. Well, he's got a tough red here. I think it just passes the yellow. Can't afford to miss it. Great shot. And a good kiss on the green. He may even be able to get through to the yellow, which would be a bonus.
Four. Five.
Well, he's going into the bunch. He needs to get through the gap of the 2 reds that's closest to the black into the main bunch. And he did do. Good shot.
12. $13.
No, it's wrong side of the blue, but that red over the right corner is available, so he can just drop this blue in, unless he's got an angle to go around the table, but I think just drop it in.
Yeah, particularly with the yellow not being on its spot. He could run into the yellow, ruin his position. I don't know why, as you say, he doesn't just roll it in. That red's adjacent to the right corner. That was the wise choice.
18.
Yeah, at this stage in the match, you don't take risks unnecessarily. Yeah, great view
19.
of the way Jed Trent aims up. He looks like he's not aiming to pot the ball, but when he delivers a cue, he brings the cue back online.
Yes, and I think sometimes that's when it can go wrong, when he starts hitting the ball a little bit too hard.
26.
He doesn't give chance for the cue to come back online. He's in good shape now.
27.
I think that little cluster, I think the end red, he's just having a look now. The end red of that little cluster just to the right of the pink, I think it does go in the same pocket as the black, but maybe not off this shot. Too straight on the black, but played that nicely for the red to the right middle.
34.
Well, does that red go? Be handy if it did, but it looks tight. Decision time for Judd. You could screw back off the side cushion for the black, or run through and get a nice angle on the blue.
35.
He's got the nice angle on the blue. Now there is a red that's just out of that little cluster of 5, sticking out. If you play the cannon into the pink, it could go wrong. So obviously this red that we was talking about a few moments ago does go, so
40.
that made choice an easy one. The only reason he's looking at the red to the right middle, it's an awkward red and he's thinking, can I get rid of it now? But that was no problem playing
41.
that one. May have to play a cannon this time though, because he's not straight on the black as he probably would like. Gonna have to play it with a lot of pace. Always knew he'd be on the one to the right middle. Couldn't have played it better. Lovely controlled
48.
positional shot there. The fact he's given this a bit of thought tells me he's very straight on this red to the right middle, which is a bit unfortunate. There you see it. Couldn't be straighter. Any sort of angle, he'd be nicely on the blue. But just had to
49.
bite the bullet. So this next shot, pot the blue and get a good line and length from one of these reds to the right corner. He was unlucky there.
Is this cue ball to slow up? Or does this red go into the right middle?
54.
Not as played.
Not as played, but it's all about a roll of the ball here and there. And that roll of the ball favoured him then.
55.
But the thing you could say about that shot, Stephen, that the line he picked give him a chance of
62.
being on all 4 reds in the middle of the table, so it was well played. And he knows the importance of this visit now.
63.
And just the pink needed to go 53 points in front with 51 remaining. He's back in the lead. And it's Sean Murphy who's playing
69.
catch-up, it appears, once again.
70.
Still not see the century, but the last 3 frames, well, they've really picked up
77.
great quality now.
78.
And bringing the red into play and played it and got the double kiss, and this time it was a good double kiss.
Switch your flashlight off, please. 85. 86.
Just a bit too straight on the blue, can't get close to the yellow, but being left-handed makes the shadow a little bit easier. Surely we're
91.
going to see the 22nd century break of the Dafabet Masters this time.
93.
Needs to slow up this cue ball though. Green and brown for the ton.
Thanks. 96.
Well, surely this time, first century of the tournament for Judd. Yes!
100.
Well, this snooker has gone up 3 or 4 notches in the last 4 frames. This is quality now.
105.
And at the business end, Judd Trump produces his best break of the match, of the tournament.
111.
Pick your pocket. Pick your pocket. Oh, we'll go for the easy one. Does it drop? Does it drop? Not quite, but it doesn't matter. 111. So Sean Murphy, who's been playing catch-up most of this match, he's playing it again. But this time, Judd Trump just 1 frame away from a place in the semi-final. He leads 5-4.
I think all of a sudden they focused in, they've forgotten the early part of this match now, and it's going to be a fight. And expect, I think, a decent standard from now on. You won't see anybody's head dropping now. It's too important.
Yeah, and we had that frame that was 35 minutes long, Ken, when Sean Murphy got that 54. And since then, would you look at the breaks? We've got 91, 95 and 111. Suddenly, we've got the quality match that we thought we were going to have at the very beginning.
And I think that 91, that time from Judd Trump, it sort of kicked the match into life. And Sean got a bit of inspiration from it. And, you know, as I said, it was a great break there from Trump, just exactly what he sort of needed.
It's funny, if you went back to the Masters in the 80s and saw those breaks throughout the whole match, you'd have said that's a pretty decent match. Now we're saying, oh, it's not been the greatest of matches. We expect lots of breaks now in top-class snooker.
Absolutely. The last time Judd Trump made the semi-finals, he lost to Barry Hawkins in 2016. He's 1 frame away for a place in the last 4.
Well, probably not the best break off, and that red was coming up the table. Sean taking this on. Wants to avoid the double kiss. Well, he got the double kiss, but no harm done. Yes, it certainly appears now that the shackles have been shaken off by both players. And that was an aggressive safety there from Judd. You know, it's always a dangerous thing to do against a long potter of Sean Murphy's prowess, but it was a pretty good one. And that's a poor one from Sean. So it's Judd who gets the first chance. Caught that much too thin.
Could that be Sean Murphy's last match in this championship?
1.
That was well played. He wanted to be low in this black, so he just nudged the red away. Just got to be delicate, this shot. Careful not to snooker yourself, put one red in front of the other. And instead, he decided to take that out of the equation and just lots of topspin power through.
8.
Let's see the topspin take effect. Well, this is exactly the kind of opportunity you want to win the match. And going by how Judd Trump has started to score, you got to fancy him.
Nothing
16.
Sean can do now, the poor safety. He's got to sit there now and wonder if he'll get another visit to the table. And this was it. Much too thin. Catching the other red, held the cue ball at this half of the table.
17.
Normally pretty reliable, Judd Trump, when he gets a chance, closing out a match.
Three reds,
24.
3 blacks.
25.
I mean, the maximum will be the last thing on his mind, but it just keeps you focused.
$32.
Be surprised if he plays for the black off this red now. It's a lot easier to play for pink, you would have thought. But no, he's
33.
coming down for the black.
Yeah, he doesn't want to play the pink, does he? Because when the pink goes back in its spot, it blocks up another red. So staying on the black. Oh, needs that cue ball to stop and quickly. He's going to play the red next to the green spot now.
40.
Yeah, a little bit of adrenaline in that shot. He's lucky to have the alternative red to go at. There was no bounce off the cushion, he just adrenaline really. But good recovery.
41.
Good solid pot. And nicely on the brown.
Brown ball. $45.
Little grimace there, straighter on this red. Just looking for another 25 points to get to the snooker's required stage at this visit from this position. Opening them up.
46.
He's okay. It's worked out absolutely beautifully. Just stretching slightly, being left-handed. He can play right-handed. Obviously, he doesn't fancy using the rest. Is he prepared to play it right-handed at the most important moment of the match? Yeah, right in the heart of the pocket. The frame and match now at his mercy.
52.
Two reds, 2 blacks and 1 more red. That's all that's required.
Yeah, the first half of the match was very scrappy, and it was Judd Trump that found the form
60.
first. So, in that respect, you could say he's a deserved winner.
61.
His race may well have been run. but not quite yet. Just the wrong angle on the pink. Oh, but played that well. Played that absolutely inch perfect. And this red will put him 68 points in front with just 67 remaining. Snooker required.
Yeah, you could just see that Judd Trump was a slight intake of breath. He knew what that meant. Yeah, that pink was a fantastic shot. Trying to miss the reds.
Yeah. He had to hit it absolutely in the centre of the pocket.
75.
Otherwise, he'd have got a cannon. May have run the cue ball in off. And the judgment after
76.
2 cushions to finish on the red was, well, it was just absolutely inch perfect. He made 111 in the last frame. Here's the pink. No margin
83.
for error. And the judgment of pace. Brilliant.
84.
Yeah, I agree with you, Stephen. I think overall, when you look at the match, you know, even when both players were beginning to struggle, you just always felt that Judd might just have that extra bit of edge.
90.
And it was a poor safety shot from
91.
Sean in this frame that caught him out. And he's sat down ever since, and he won't be getting up again until he's come to shake Judd's hand.
98. Is it 139 highest break? Can I have a nod?
Yeah, 139 is the highest
Yeah,
break
139.
made by Liang Wenbo. And it was made against Judd,
99.
funnily enough. Back-to-back centuries, absolutely marvellous. He's got a possible 140 on, which would give him that £10,000 for the high break in the Dafabet Masters. Mr. Blue. Oh, can he keep past the blue? Well, what a match it turned out to be in the end. First half, bit scrappy, both players missed opportunity, but what a finish by Judd Trump. Breaks of 111 and 113 to close out the match, and he's through to the semi-final. He'll play Kyron Wilson on Saturday, a match to look forward to. But Judd Trump showing a class above Sean Murphy at the end there, and he runs out a winner by 6 frames to 4.
Yeah, it's always nice to sort of promise in a match to be playing well, and then all of a sudden you go a bit wrong, but then you get it back together again. So I think, even though he might not be absolutely over the moon at the standard, I think he'd be secretly pleased that he's got his mind right. I think that was probably the most important thing, and sometimes Judd doesn't have that, so I think he'd be quite pleased with that.
Well, he got better as the match went on.
Yeah, he did, yeah. And when it was put back up to him, you know, he responded very well, just like he did in his first match against Liang Wenbo. And that's always pleasing, even though, you know, the start of the match wasn't that good, but certainly the back end of the match was top quality.
We'll concentrate on Judd in just a moment because he's on his way to our studio as well. But very disappointing performance overall from Sean today.
Yeah, I think he will be disappointed, you know, because he's been putting some very good performances. But I think you just got to say, well, you know, a best of 11 match against another great player. Sometimes it's not going to be your day. But I think he will be genuinely disappointed with his overall standard.
Just didn't look the same sort of player that we saw earlier in the weekend.
No, he didn't get going, and it was only at the back end of the match that he started to play a little bit. But it was, you know, the couple of safety shots cost him. But you know, when your opponent is winning the frames in one visit, it puts you under a lot of pressure, you know.
Here he comes, live in our studio. Judd, congratulations through to the semi-finals. Great stuff, fantastic, brilliant end to that match.
Yeah, it kind of got going, I think it was 3-2 or 4-2.
4-2 probably, yeah.
We started to pot a few. I think the first 5 frames was just a bit bogged down. There was a couple of things going on in the auditorium, and it was just too slow for both of us. We both don't play like that, so as soon as one of us sort of had a break, that was it then. Sean started to go for his balls, they started to go, and I knew I had to sort of one visit in the last 2 frames.
Yeah, the boys in commentary were saying it got, and the boys here as well, got a little bit scrappy, didn't it? Was that down to what was going on there? Because there was a few things with the fans as well, weren't there? They were taking a while to settle, and then the Wasp was buzzing around as well, which was causing all sorts of chaos.
Yeah, I think obviously I got off to a good start, and I wanted to get in front at the interval, and I think things just went a bit slow. I think we both probably didn't play our natural game at the start. No one really wanted to give each other a shot, and in the end it got a bit careless from both of us, and then towards the end you kind of seen the real Sean Murphy and the real Judd Trump.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know it's one match at a time, but obviously with a few big names going out, it does raise the stakes a bit, doesn't it? You spot people going out. We saw Mark Williams on Twitter after I think Ronnie had gone out, put a load of smiley faces on. And he's like, you do think, oh, you've got a chance here.
Not really. Whenever the draw opens up, I go out. So I think I'd rather play the top players. I think this is just a tournament you want to be involved in. I think you don't want to go out with the crowd here are always. It's just a bit extra special, really. You just want to be involved in the tournament.
How is the table playing? Because at the beginning of the week there was so many centuries going on. But how is it? Is the Claude as good or is it need changing now?
No, it's not very good. I think a couple of the safety shots, the side is really reacting a little bit too much now. I think the cushions got changed, so the cushions are good. There's no bounces or anything like that. But I think the cloth's just a little bit old now.
Yeah, it'll be changing anyway for the semi-final and new cloth.
Looking at your Masters record, I know how disappointed you were to go out to Marco Fu last year in the last 16. You through to the semi-finals. First time you've been back at the semis since you lost to Barry Hawkins, wasn't it, as well? Do you feel differently coming into the Masters this year? Do you feel full of confidence?
Not really, no. I think my results this season have been pretty good. I think I haven't played a good standard at all. But I think obviously my B game is maybe a little bit better. I'm a little bit more patient. I think when I do miss balls now, I try not to get so down about it. And there was a spell in the middle of the season where we were travelling around and it all got on top of me, and I just tried to ease down on the practice a little bit before this one. Normally, this one in the Worlds, I kind of give it the extra 10%, but I haven't this time. I just thought, just go and relax and just play it like another tournament, and so far it's paid off.
So you're feeling a bit more relaxed going into it then? Are you practising as hard then, or are you rolling back then on the practice?
I've practised hard, but obviously you don't know how much other people are practising. You just got to judge. I could be practising more than anyone else still, but I think I've had some good practice. I think Jack Lazowski's been down at my club. I've seen Ronnie been in practicing every day, so I know what it's all about.
Yeah. The boys in commentary right at the start of the match was saying that perhaps the difference between you and Sean might be the fact that your tactical game has come on, whereas Sean's not known for his tactics. It's something that you've got to get the balance right of it, though, haven't you?
Yeah, I think in the end, my safety was terrible, really, and Sean wasn't much better in that game. I think
generally.
Generally, I've tried to improve. And Sean, I think Sean went through a spell where he concentrated too much on his safety, and he's got back out of that now just to play his attacking game. I just think at 4-4, I'm proud of sort of the bottle I showed.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what you said, didn't you? You said fair play to Judd. He stepped up here.
It was put up to you in the first match against Liang Wenbo, but you held it together. And then when Sean put it up to you, you know, with winning those 2 frames and the bounce, you came back fighting. So that's always good qualities to see, you know.
Yeah, I think when it's 4-4 or 5-4, you know that you need to go out there and just sort of grab it by the scruff of the neck. And to make a century in the last 2 frames in the Masters, in the quarterfinals, is always good. Yeah,
absolutely. And Kyron Wilson next. How's your form against Kyron?
I've not really played him that much, I don't think. I think obviously he's a tough player. The younger players I probably prefer to play the older players a little bit more. There's more safety, and the younger players seem to go all out attacking.
Well, you're not going to believe this, but that's exactly the theme in our opening chat today, wasn't it, Steve? You said exactly the same thing, didn't you?
To some degree, yeah. I mean, when you're a young player and you're playing the older players, you sort of think, oh, they're established ones, we'll have a go at those. You don't want to play the young ones coming through. But all of a sudden, you're now one of the more established players in the game, and you're going to get younger players to play against some of the Chinese players.
Yeah, I think Kyron just goes sort of very attacking. I think he really goes for his shots, even... that's probably why he goes missing during the season sometimes, because he kind of sticks to the same game plan. Same with Sean as well. I think when they get onto a hot spell, they're going to get to a final over and over again.
But that was you
Yeah.
5-7 years ago. Something.
Yeah. So yeah, it was the same with me, and everyone just goes through that spell where you have to transition, and sort of I've gone through it, and hopefully Karen has a bad game tomorrow.
I've got to ask you, what happened to the shirt? What happened to the stripy shirt? Because that got Twitter going, didn't it, the other night?
Yeah, I can't wear it the same shirt every game, can I? It's stinking by
It's in the wash. It's in the wash. It's in the wash.
It's not in the boot sale yet.
Not just yet, no.
Good stuff. Top man, Judd. Thank you very much indeed.